Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This video is our reaction to Manifest Season 2, Episode 3. An episode that teaches us a number of important things, including that you can hunt down your psychiatrist traitor via unusual means and fake supplies and whatever else you want to do.
That was awesome.
Yeah, Saanvi had herself a moment in this episode. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, Olive has the capacity to go and take part in some, interesting, I guess we want to call them believer incantations. What is going on with these people?
Yep. After hearing a lukewarm speech, she was inspired to become part of this whole thing.
Hey, apparently, all it takes is one lukewarm speech in the right time, and then boom, all of a sudden you're all on board. They extended the olive branch to her, and you're welcome. Okay, well, before we dive any further into this, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other updates.
And just in case you guys are wondering what I'm doing when I'm doing this, I actually have the cat on my lap. Here's a tiny bit. Whoop.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know us, we have a rescue cat who never sits on our laps.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
So this is a very rare moment, and I'm doing my best to be like, hey, yo, you want to sit on my lap all the time?
Yeah, this may last for about 5 minutes. It's kind of my current over-under on this. But, all right, well, when it comes to this episode, I feel like it was really enjoyable, but at the same time, I also felt like I was watching 3 different episodes at once because not a lot of these stories necessarily connected. And I think we're just sort of stuck waiting for, okay, how are we going to see Grace's pregnancy work itself in with, everything with Ben's new job, Michaela getting Zeke out. It's we got a lot of stuff, but not all of it was really coming together.
Yeah, this really was kind of a broken up episode. There was a lot that was happening, and some things for me are happening too fast. We've only had 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Zeke has gone to jail and is out of jail.
Yeah.
This fast. At the beginning of this episode, he's still in jail. He's tied to a bed. He's admitted that he's guilty, and by the end of the episode, oh, no problem, you're out, time served, bye-bye, have a nice life. I'm just like, whoa, this all kind of wrapped up a lot faster than it feels like it should have wrapped up. I don't want to see Zeke in jail forever, but it just felt all a little too, everything fell into place perfectly, and now he's out.
Yeah, I think what we really got a sense of here is that Michaela's power may not actually be her calling, but rather her ability to make really good arguments and magically get things turned around really fast, because apparently Michaela just works harder than everybody else or something.
Yeah, and it's kind of strange too, because it almost feels like this whole Zeke goes to jail thing should have just, that storyline could have just been dropped. There was nothing that came out of him going to jail, because he could have had these callings and things happening outside of jail. He didn't need to be there for any of this to kind of happen.
If I'm going to make a theory as to why all this happened, I don't think it actually had to do with Michaela or Zeke in retrospect. I think it had to do with Jared, who is becoming a little bit more of cranky pants, going to the bar and being really salty and just hanging out with some people who really do not have good opinions about the passengers at all.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about this too that I've been feeling about for Jared this season, is he doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
That his whole thing was, let's just get Zeke in jail, perfect, everything is rolling out great. I again just don't feel like Zeke needed to go to jail. I feel like there's other things that can be going on for Jared, and I hope that more things do come out for Jared, because he's a great character, and I feel like he's being a little bit sidelined.
I hope good things come for Jared. I do not hope that he continues to go down this road with hanging out with the passenger haters at the bar.
I understand why he is.
I know.
It's changed everything for him. If this is the storyline, he'll be going down for a little while. Could be really interesting for him. Of course, I don't want to see anything bad happen to Jared. I like Jared, so it's not I don't want to see him have to spiral out of control, but maybe he has to hit the rock bottom before he can become one of the believers like Olive, and will have a lukewarm speech that will rouse him into believing.
Yeah, the Olive stuff, I think, it's the part of the manifest right now I don't fully get, just because I don't understand what the purpose of the believers are just yet, other than, I guess, maybe it's just a place for like-minded individuals to go and sort of get indoctrinated into this mentality. And I mean, it's possible that they may not end up being a problem, but I just worry about getting that many people together and all having kind of a collective sense of thought, because if you get that sort of togetherness, that can mean some very bad things are done.
The thing for me of what I was hoping with, and still kind of hoping with, where it's like, she'll go up and be like, "Hi, everybody, I'm Olive." "Hi, Olive." It felt a bit more like a support group than it really feels like a church or something like that. The Believers. It felt like more of a support group for people who know people that were part of the passengers, or they have some sort of connection. They're all kind of lost. That's the sort of storyline that I was really kind of hoping, and still a little bit hoping that we're going with all of that. We've seen her come to her parents, or at least to Grace, to be like, "Listen, I know you think that I just feel displaced in this family because now I'm the only one with no callings. And while that may be true," and there goes the cat, "that is not the only thing that's going on. I'm also afraid that now everybody in my family's gonna die." Yeah. So it makes sense that she would want to find other people that she can maybe find that same kind of connection with. The fact that she's come to her mom and has said, "I feel like I'm lost, like I'm not part of this family." Grace has said, "Oh, no, of course you're part of the family." And then something happened in this episode that really rubbed me the wrong way, and it rubbed Olive the wrong way, which is with Grace's calling this time. She's trying to help somebody out. Yeah. And one of the things that they were doing was they were just trying to look up a website to see where these soccer practices are happening. Yeah. Olive was like, "Hey, can I help?" The answer should be, "Why, yes, Olive, yes, you can. We're looking up a website." That's all they're doing. Yeah. Instead, it's, no, we don't need your help. This is now a calling thing. You're not part of this. So that felt a little bit strange. I get you don't want to involve your only kid that is not part of the callings into this stuff, but on the other side of this, you're a family of callings. Like, you can't exclude her when you have a perfectly safe opportunity to.
I think it's almost just one of these sort of things where Grace is just obsessed may not be the right word, but she's just so into what she's doing, and I think sometimes people don't always understand that it's okay to relinquish a little bit of control, and I think that she was just sort of seeing Olive as just an other, as opposed to just someone within our own actual family. I think she'll get there. I think the problem is probably she's just swung from this extreme, having no columns, to now she's all the way over here, when maybe she needs to be somewhere kind of in the middle and understand all parties. Let's talk about the part of this episode that I enjoyed the most, and that is...
I know where you're going!
Saanvi, secret agent why?
So good.
You just need to go and hang out with Vance and do some, super secret operations or anything. Somebody give you a promotion, or at least, a +5 to your, stealth ability, because this was really, really fun, and I think it was also kind of needed, because her story, a lot of it was been kind of okay, Saanvi's getting, manipulated, mistreated, and it was just kind of sad for the first couple of episodes, and, it even kind of starts off in a little bit of a sad place for her when we're getting, these flashbacks, and then, though, things accelerate, and then at the end it's boom, Saanvi is in control. She is the captain now. She can figure out what she wants to do to the Major, and I wasn't even trying to make a Captain Major joke there, but
it's just in part of you.
Yeah, the puns embrace themselves, but I enjoyed this storyline a lot.
Yeah, no, I really loved it, and when she first fired her assistant, was like, "Oh, now I got to make this appointment with this person." at first I was like, oh no, this is not going bad. But as soon as she sat down with the Major and started playing things out, I was like, oh, this feels like she's playing this situation, and I really like this.
Yeah, the only thing I kind of wondered is at the point where she's just sort of talking about her sample or whatever else she's got, this big breakthrough, and she's just like, well, it's just kind of over here. And then the therapist is just sort of like, well, I don't have another patient after you. I just kind of like, Major, if you're gonna be undercover, like, shouldn't you be able to interpret something here, like that you're being just like thrown this giant pile of bait? But
the thing is they have built for over months of time, and Saanvi's given enough information to the Major at this point that why wouldn't the Major believe that the next step has happened? It was all like she didn't even know she was setting it up for this great big huge trap, but she did, and she did it perfectly. The one thing I do want to say about her story that I found interesting from the flashbacks was her being on the plane, getting stood up by someone she loves, and then having this later where she keeps texting this person. And there was something that was really interesting that I saw in there, which is that this person was married.
Yeah.
And so now we also have that she has feelings for Ben, who is also married.
Yeah.
So I'm now starting to wonder if it's just bad luck that she's falling for people who are married, or if this is something that's more of a pattern for her, that there is some sort of attraction to people who are married. And I'm sure that's going to come out as the show's going on. But it was really quick, but I was like, ooh, here's the word married. Very, very interesting. I like her so much.
Saanvi is kind of moving up my list of most fascinating characters and really just best characters on this show.
She is amazing.
Just because she is, on one level, she's just brilliant and she's so smart and she's so capable. But then, she's also, like what you just pointed out, she's so flawed in some other ways.
Yeah, because if you're hitching your boat to someone who's married, you're self-sabotaging. It's just, it just is what it is.
And I mean, the reality is Saanvi could actually probably use some professional help from someone who is not, the Major trying to manipulate and steal all her secrets. Yeah. But this is just, unfortunately, the hand that she has been dealt at the moment. But I mean, I think we're certainly going to see probably a little bit more of this now that Saanvi is starting to get kind of clued in more and more to what's going on.
Yeah, I'm glad that he did end up giving out the secret that Vance is still alive, but Ben really messed up giving out that secret. Vance has done a lot to make sure that he is not found. He doesn't really know Saanvi. He needs to keep the circle small, really small. And there are other ways around it that Ben could have gone about it, and that he should have gone about it. I understand he doesn't feel that great about lying to her or manipulating her, but he doesn't have to burn Vance to not lie to her, if that makes sense. There is a way around it.
And I think you're totally right. And it's kind of interesting where I think it was the wrong move for Ben to make, but I also kind of like that Ben made the move, because I think it just, like, this to me is Ben's biggest flaw, is that, he's not used to being in the savior position and being the guy who has all the weight of this on his shoulders. And so I think he's a little bit reactionary, and I think he makes decisions sometimes impulsively without thinking through the consequences, like you just sort of suggested. And I kind of hope over the rest of the season that we see him start to kind of find his way a little bit. And
well, he's probably going to get a little more lost before he gets found that he has this new job with this woman that Grace was trying to open her eyes and had this calling about and did not help her, that wished some terrible things on her just because of who her son is and what happened being a passenger and all that. And this is now, her husband is now Ben's boss. So things are like it's such a hard position for Ben, because obviously he doesn't know what's going on yet. He's had a really hard time landing a job. So even if things start to go a little weird or sideways, I mean, is he going to be able to really leave his position? Like, it's all very juicy storytelling coming up.
And I like the fact that Ben's, like, first lecture, he's trying to get his job done, but it's kind of also like a Reddit AMA with everyone just, like, shouting questions at him about things totally unrelated.
Yeah, and it was cool that TJ was like, okay, I'll help get the conversation back to math, but there was a part of me that almost felt like he needed to just address it and show the other professors and the faculty that this isn't going to be a problem. And the way that it's not going to be a problem is by facing it head on, being like, okay, I'm going to take 5 minutes worth of questions. I'm going to answer what I can. And then we're done. And that way we're not just pretending it didn't happen and that I'm not who I am. We're going to address it. We're going to get it out of our system. And then we're going to talk about math.
Get back to math. Maybe 4 words that no one has ever wanted to say ever, but I agree with you that should be, like, that's obviously his goal. I think my solution would be have a seminar before your first class where you sit down for half an hour, you take questions from everybody, and then if people bring up questions while you're there, then you'd be like, well, you should have come to the seminar, shouldn't you? And then just sort of have that be it.
Yeah, I agree. There should have been something beforehand or at the beginning of this class that just answered everybody's questions so that then they can move on, get to the class. Faculty doesn't have to worry about them. Students know what they want to know, and now we're all moving on.
Well, let's move on, speaking of that, to episode 4 airing very, very soon. And this is going to be an interesting one, I think, for Michaela, because she's somehow, it seems like she's going to be back out on the job. Whatever's happening with Zeke is not inhibiting her from moving forward. She's going to find herself at the center of some, like, crazy, dangerous robbery with a mystery person at the center of all of it. Is this someone we know? Like, that's not really confirmed as of yet. All I got to say is, don't shoot Michaela again, like it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, I mean, high stakes can mean something else with something sort of like high stakes robbery. It doesn't always have to be shoot her again. It could be, the worth of what's being stolen. It could be that it's a passenger that's doing this, so that makes it high stakes. That's what's so awesome about this show. Is that when you see a synopsis where it's kind of, they'll throw in a word like high stakes robbery, there's like 20 different branches that this can go into because it's manifest.
Yeah, and it's sort of like this with the Ben storyline, because he and PJ are going to piece together some mysterious clues, and then that's sort of like, okay, what are they clues to? How is that gonna work?
Yeah, is this with the death date? Is this with the callings? Is this with something else? Like, it's really interesting that when you get these types of synopses that you can actually break it down to all these different things.
Well, Manifest is gonna keep chugging along. They don't have that many episodes this season, so they have to kind of move at a pretty fast pace, which is probably good for those of you who want answers and they don't want the show to sit on things forever.
Yeah.
But let's wrap this up because we got to know from you, what did you think about Manifest Season 2, Episode 3? Share all of your thoughts in the comments. And if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us more by checking that link in the description to the CARTERMATT store. And we'll see you here next time.